Well, hello everyone on this busy Tuesday. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. Thanks so much for joining us on the ABC10 app. Tonight, Sacramento police are still searching for a suspect after a double stabbing in downtown Commons that left one man dead Monday night. Investigators say they are now reviewing surveillance video and interviewing witnesses as they work to identify whoever is responsible.
Downtown business owners and workers say incidents like this are happening way too often. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias is live in downtown Sacramento tonight. So Roxanne, what are you hearing from folks down there tonight?
Well, Chris, business owners and employees who come out to this area say this isn't the first time something like this has happened here. And they say they are more worried now more than ever that it could happen again and possibly to them. So they're pleading that something different be done in order to stop this type of crime from happening here. A fatal stabbing in downtown Sacramento has businesses and employees worried.
It's horrible. We should be able to be in our community and enjoy the businesses that we have safely.
I don't know how to expose this to my family and let them know that there was another killing again.
Peter Navin says he opened Navin's, a custom tailor shop in downtown Plaza, about 45 years ago with the promise of seeing the area thrive. He signed a new lease about a month ago.
The previous mayor who brought in the Kings over here, and he says, I assure you we will make this the capital center of the city.
Tuesday morning, he says his employee called after arriving at the shop and seeing it taped off. Sacramento police say just before 9:45 Monday night, officers responded to the 400 block of Key Street after receiving reports of a stabbing. They found a man and a woman stabbed, and they were taken to the hospital. But despite life-saving efforts, the man was pronounced dead at the hospital. It's left downtown employees who walk the area and under the bridge feeling uneasy.
We have to go down to the parking garage every day when we go to work from our office. I partially don't feel safe most of the time.
Navin also remembers an overnight standoff involving a man with a gun on the roof of this parking garage next to his business about 2 years ago. Sac PD says there's a new substation at 320 K Street, and Navin hopes the police station next door will help in some way.
But when I hear something like this, I'm afraid my family would be after me to move from here because they don't want me to be a victim next time.
Alicia says perhaps a study needs to be done to figure out how to prevent this crime from happening.
Looking at the data and looking at are we really meeting the moment the way that we should be, and based on when this is happening, who it's happening to, and how this is happening. Because I think for the most part we can feel the presence of policing folks, but it seems like there's a gap in when this is happening.
No suspect information has been released, and the condition of the woman in the hospital has yet to be released as well. Sacramento police urging anyone with information to call police or Crime Stoppers. I'm live in downtown Sacramento. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Yeah, this is a developing story. Roxanne, keep us posted as you learn more. Thank you. Well, turning now to a drug bust that led to a seizure of more than 2,000 pounds of meth in Northern California. Here's what we know right now. 8 people are in federal and state custody. The investigation targeted an alleged drug trafficking network operating across multiple counties. More than 100 officers executed high-risk search warrants at residential properties in Valley Springs, Turlock, and Modesto. This drug bust, dubbed Operation Trash Panda, took place last Friday.
Happening now, Sacramento City leaders are discussing some major budget decisions.
The city council will need to figure out how to close a more than $66 million budget gap by early June.
Okay, so here are the 3 proposals the city council will consider at tonight's meeting. The first scenario would fund priority departments relating to government operations and emergency response, but would drastically reduce funding to all other city departments.
Option 2 would have all departments receive a roughly 12% budget cut, which would likely lead to layoffs. Option 3 would have all departments assess their own budget with the goal to see a 15% reduction in spending. We do have a crew on the way to the meeting right now. We'll have live coverage coming up on the news at 6.
While the city is looking to cut spending, it's also working to bring in more money. One proposal would increase parking rates, add 200 new meters in East Sacramento and Old Sacramento, and start charging a fee for residential parking permits. Today marks the first budget discussion meeting, with the council expected to adopt a final budget in June. Well, 4 days into the conflict with Iran, and the strikes are escalating across the region. President Trump took questions today for the first time since the fighting started.
But he and other administration officials have offered mixed messaging to justify the war. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest tonight.
Today, for the first time since giving the U.S. military the okay to strike Iran, President Trump publicly took questions from reporters. ABC's Rachel Scott asked the president if Israel forced his hand, to which he said no, insisting Iran was a threat.
I think they were going to attack first, and I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready.
That contradicts what Secretary of State Marco Rubio said just yesterday, that Israel was planning on attacking Iran's regime with or without the U.S.
If we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties.
And today, a visibly frustrated Rubio tried to clarify.
Listen, let me explain to you guys this in simple English. Okay? Iran is run by lunatics, religious fanatic lunatics. They have an ambition to have nuclear weapons, and this is the weakest they've ever been. Now is the time to go after them.
The administration's mixed messaging is brewing frustration among Democratic and some Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
Which one is it, Donald Trump? Regime change, nuclear weapons, missiles, an imminent threat to the homeland, or a preemptive strike to stop future attacks on the region?
Regarding the thousands of American tourists now stranded across the Middle East, the State Department working on securing military aircraft and charter flights for U.S. citizens, for now urging people like Oliver Sims in Doha to get out as soon as possible.
I know that officials have said, use commercial means, but there are really no commercial means here for us to use.
Trump was asked why there wasn't an evacuation plan for Americans in the Middle East ahead of the strikes. He responded, "It all happened very quickly." Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Christiane, thank you. Meanwhile, the Associated Press is reporting the president says, quote, someone from within the Iranian government may be best to take over power, with senior administration officials saying a regime change was not the end goal.
Remember, for the latest on the conflict in Iran, just download our free ABC10 app. Well, today, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. It all comes as she has been scrutinized over her handling of her post following the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Pretty. The two Minneapolis residents, who were both 37 years old, were killed during demonstrations against ICE operations. One of the sharpest criticisms came from Republican Senator Tom Tillis.
The fact that you can't admit to a mistake, which looks like under investigation, is going to prove that Miss Good and Mr. Pretty probably should not have been shot in the face and in the back. Law enforcement needs to learn from that. And what we've seen is a disaster. Under your leadership, Ms. Noem, a disaster.
Democrats also pressed her over enforcement tactics and her public comments following the shooting of Pretty, when she, without evidence, suggested his actions appeared to be domestic terrorism.
Coming up, the California Democratic Party chair urging governor candidates to drop out of the race if their chances of winning are looking low. We learn more from a political analyst.
Plus, check out today's total lunar eclipse. We'll show you some stunning video and hear from the folks out at Folsom Lake enjoying the event. Next.
Oh, what a beautiful view last night and early this morning. Here's a look at the incoming system. We're going to be tracking this into our Wednesday and the winds that follow.
Tonight, the political world is hearing long-awaited calls for consolidation in the race to succeed Governor Gavin Newsom. A stern message from the chair of the Democratic Party following last month's party endorsement convention that ended with no endorsement for governor. ABC 10 State Matters political reporter Jenny Huh has the details tonight.
I am saying out loud what plenty of people have been saying privately.
Ahead of the June primary election, chair of the California Democratic Party, Rusty Hicks, is calling for party consolidation in the race to succeed Governor Gavin Newsom.
So in your perspective, is this too little too late by the official party?
I think it's a little late. I do.
Calls for that consolidation have echoed for months now amid growing concerns the Democratic vote could be split so much among these 9 leading Democratic candidates, allowing for a Republican-on-Republican race in the top 2 runoff in November.
Kind of an existential crisis potentially in this governor's race.
So you have nearly a dozen Democrats who have been staring into the mirror, and what they see coming back at them is governor.
Hicks in a Tuesday letter asking lower performing candidates not to declare their candidacy ahead of this Friday's candidate filing deadline, which would put their name on the June ballot. And a stern message for candidates that still march on.
To be prepared to either get viable or get out. I'm only giving them the opportunity and inviting them to be a collective part of solving this challenge that we're all facing.
So why not call on specific candidates to drop out? Hicks says the polls speak for themselves.
This letter from you and leadership, is this the most kind of involvement, quote unquote, we're going to get ahead of the primary?
Only time will tell. I mean, this is a first step, and I think it was the best step for today.
The most recent poll from the nonpartisan Public Policy Institute of California shows 5 are essentially tied. Republicans Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, alongside Democrats Katie Porter, Eric Swalwell, and Tom Steyer.
They have to know that they're costing votes for the top Democratic vote getter. Even if there is 5 Democrats at the end of the day, there still is some chance that they would split up the vote so much.
Candidates who polled in the single digits in the recent PPIC poll are responding. Former State Controller Betty Yee, former Secretary of Health and Human Services Javier Becerra, and former State Assemblymember Ian Calderon say their names will be on the ballot. And this from State Superintendent of Schools Tony Thurmond.
Bernie Sanders was right. Our political system is rigged. The California Democratic Party is essentially telling every candidate of color in the race for governor to drop out.
Jenny Huh, ABC 10.
ABC 10 To The Point host Alex Bell sat down with California's Democratic candidates for governor. Tonight at 6:30, she shares her conversation with candidate Ian Calderon. We're also working to sit down with Republican candidates. You can also watch the interviews now on our free ABC 10 app.
Okay, so check out the total lunar eclipse. Take a look at this video from around 3 a.m. this morning. That's when it was at the peak visible hour. Some people were out in Folsom to view the eclipse as early as 2:30 this morning. Here's why they think it was the perfect place to be to take full advantage of the amazing sight.
Really accessible to a lot of folks that are in the Sacramento area, really easy to drive through, but it's just far enough away that it has that lovely dark sky that gives you a better view than you would with a lot of light pollution in the city or in the suburbs.
Okay, so let's bring in our resident scientist, Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. I understand the next total lunar eclipse visible from the U.S. will be what? June of 2029?
I am so thankful we have this video. I did not stay up late, even though we do stay for LNT at 11 p.m. But wow, what an amazing sight. I love it.
I know. I heard the dog's collars kind of rustling a little bit. And so I looked at the clock and I went, well, now
Might
I guess
as well get up.
Nice. It was worth it, though. Really great reddish glow out there and very little cloud cover. Now, I'm going to be tracking a chance for some midweek showers, mainly for the foothills and the Sierra. Also, some gusty Tahoe winds. Widespread strong wind developing Thursday and Friday. And then, of course, third up on that list, time change. Time to spring forward. Satellite and radar, we've got some clouds moving through just off the coast here. That's going to be part of a bigger weather story heading into tomorrow. Highs for today, upper 60s, low 70s in the valley. Solidly 5 degrees above average, 60s in the foothills and 50s up top for this Sierra. Right now, we've got mostly clear skies. Sacramento, 68, Stockton, 69, Modesto, 70, Marysville, we're at 68 degrees, and Tahoe, 48. That sunset at 6:01, so a little bit longer before we start to see the skies darken. If you're headed out to that Kings game, pregame is going to be in the 60s. Our tip-off not until 8 p.m. By the time we get to the post-game conditions, we're going to see more clouds and temperatures dropping into the 50s. Here's the band of rain coming in from the Pacific. This is going to be a bigger player for the Pacific Northwest. Locally, we're only going to get about 1/10 of an inch of rain for the foothills, and even that is optimistic. Only a dusting of snow for the Sierra to about 1 inch at Donner Pass. Not a hugely disruptive storm system, a quick mover, but on the back edge of it, it's really going to be far more disruptive because we get those strong winds. So this time of year with everything in bloom, that can be quite problematic. So showers in the forecast for tomorrow, mainly for the north end of the valley. For the foothills, Sierra, low pressure system settles into Southern California. There's that high just off the coast, and in between it, we get the breezy winds. Those are going to be north winds, dry, warm, and we're going to really bump up those temperatures by the time we get to the weekend. So in terms of our wind gusts, upwards of 30 and 40 miles per hour along I-5 to the west of the valley, we're going to see the strongest winds. Now, those stay in place through our Friday, so expect at least a 2-day event here. Daylight saving time, we are going to lose an hour of sleep Saturday into Sunday as we spring forward. So our sunrise and sunset will be an hour later. If you enjoy those evening walks a little bit deeper into the evening, then we're just around the corner from being able to enjoy that. Highs in the 40s tomorrow for the Sierra, 50s and 60s down low for the foothills. We're in the 60s to near 70 throughout the coast, and for the Central Valley, highs are going to be in the 60s and 70s for our midweek outlook. And then we start to see the warming conditions by the time we get to the weekend. Thursday and Friday still a little bit on the cooler side. We're generally starting to see the bigger warming develop Saturday and Sunday on the back edge of those stronger winds. Again, they're warming winds, so that's going to bring us into the 70s for the weekend forecast. This is our first full weekend of March. We've got sunny skies, highs in the 70s, spring forward, beautiful conditions to enjoy that Sunday as well.
As we say, Goldilocks weather. I know, nice and cozy and comfy and gorgeous outside.
I know.
I'm just not looking forward to losing that hour of sleep, though, huh?
Or the allergies with the winds. Yeah, close up the windows and definitely want to prepare for that.
Yep. Something to keep in mind. Okay, Monica, thank you.
Yep.
Well, coming up next, a show of solidarity. Teammates shaving their heads in honor of a 17-year-old diagnosed with leukemia.
New at 5:30, a high school student diagnosed with cancer is being recognized by his peers.
Yeah, today teammates and parents of the Sacramento Country Day School varsity basketball team shaved their heads in solidarity.
We want to show you 17-year-old Ryan Scripps. He has been diagnosed with leukemia, a cancer of the body's blood-forming tissues, usually involving white blood cells. His coach, David Akram, is proud of the team for showing their support for Scripps.
It's a sense of unity And that says a lot about the kids here and his teammates. They just love him, you know? And when he finds out or when he sees this, he's going to maybe even shed a tear because, you know, sometimes people say they love you, but when they actually show you, it's a different kind of party.
So true. The coach goes on to say that Scripps is such a good student with a good family and a talented basketball player. He hopes he can help him stay active during his treatment, and the family says they deeply appreciate their son's team coming together in a show of solidarity. And I do love what the coach had to say. You know, a lot of times people will say they love you, they will say they care for you, but it's really all about putting the words and the actions together.
I totally agree. Stories like this really prove why our community is so great, I think. Yes. All right, coming up, are you ready to spring forward? If you need a little pick-me-up when you lose that hour next weekend, you're in luck. See what Starbucks is dropping in their spring lineup.
Coming up new tonight on the news at 6, Republican state lawmakers celebrating what they're calling a major milestone in making state elections more secure. But the move is being met with controversy. We hear from both sides coming up tonight on the news at 6.
But first, Starbucks is ready to spring forward. The company launched its latest seasonal lineup today. Set your eyes on this. It features chai, ube, lavender, and coconut flavored drinks. In addition to the new choices, Starbucks is also bringing back its iced lavender cream matcha. Later this spring, Starbucks will unveil its new iced mango cream matcha. More menu information is available on Starbucks' website, but those photos pretty much say it all. Good advertising, guys. You know, you eat with your eyes, right?
Especially around this time of day, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all looking forward to something good to eat, right?
So true.
Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Remember, you can watch us anytime, any day on your schedule, right here on the free ABC10 app. Have a great night.